This news update is brought to you by...
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
This is the Noon Barbados Day update for Monday, May 5, 2014. I'm Kmar Jordan. Good afternoon. On the eve of the Common Interest Examination in Barbados, Queen's College Principal Dr. David Brown is blaming the media for causing much of the anxiety surrounding the annual test. He says that parents too are guilty of creating anxiety by sending their children to unnecessary lessons and remaining on school compounds while children are taking the test. Speaking at a memorial lecture last night, Dr. Brown also took issue with how some primary schools and teachers deal with the matter.
Some primary schools in their quest to move up the ladder in the pecking order insensitively strain their children and proceed to teach in the common entrance examination rather than the total check. Teachers at the primary level who join in the hype, pushing the gifted ones to the breaking point for recognition, worth, and prestige. Such hype and publicity must cease, for it is a vicious cycle which feeds on itself and goes on and on. It places the children under tremendous pressure and destroys self-esteem of far too many in the system.
Over 3,700 children will take the 11 Plus examination tomorrow. Meantime, the operators of public service vehicles are putting the government on notice. They're threatening to take action if the Friendle Stewart administration fails to address their concerns. President of the Association of Public Transport Operators, Morris Lee, says the group has been seeking an audience with the Prime Minister since the government removed the fuel subsidy for PSVs. He laments that their requests have fallen on deaf ears while operators are suffering huge losses.
The operators have complained that the cost of fuel as we speak makes up about 50%, anywhere between 25 to 50% of the day's income. So you can see for every $2 in bus fare that we receive, anywhere between 75 cents to $1 is used in fuel. So obviously that has a major impact on the business.
In other news, dismissed workers at the National Conservation Commission were barred from entering the compound this morning as the unions began another round of talks with management. The closed-door meeting to discuss the controversial layoffs was continuing up to lunchtime. NCC General Manager Keith Neblett is meeting with the General Secretary of the National Union of Public Workers, Dennis Clark, and the Deputy Director of Industrial Relations of the Barbados Workers Union, Dwayne Paul, on the way forward. The unions have accused the state-owned commission of breaching procedures for 200 dismissed workers who were after they staged protests claiming they were unfairly treated. And this just in, the two sides are due to meet with the Chief Labor Officer as the dispute heads to the Labor Department. The government, meantime, is standing by its decision to have only one sugar factory in operation. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says it's too costly to have more than one factory at this time. He explained that in the past, the government was borrowing millions to prop up the sector, and this is simply unsustainable.
And it is pure stress for government to come up with that money every year. It's really borrowed money. You're borrowing from financial institutions to basically put into a hole. Now, what Dr. Eswick and his team is doing and are doing is to restructure the industry, to make it profitable for those who are in it, the planters and the producers, so that they can get an appropriate return on their investment. Greater levels of employment can occur, and you can have an industry that goes more to the value added than to the bulk product. And that is what has to take place. Frankly, that is what should have taken place 10, 15 years ago. But we can't cry over spilled milk.
To the law courts now, 4 St. Lucie men will appear in court today in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Doom in a bar at the corner of Nelson and Wellington Street last month. They are 25-year-old Xavier Ronaldo Walks of Arches Road, Crab Hill, 22-year-old Shane Akeem Omar Bab of Friars Well, 26-year-old Rory Sinclair Thomas, and 33-year-old Ryan Omar Samuel, both of Grape Hall. Samuel is already on bail for the May 2011 stabbing death of Rico de Pisa in Spicestown, St. Peter. Doom died at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital after being shot in the bar. On Saturday, 35-year-old Andre Omar Jackman of Shroud Bay, Crab Hill, St. Lucie, was charged in connection with Doom's death.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Because she deserves it. Make her Mother's Day. Send us a photo and a message telling the world why your mother is simply the best at love@barbadostoday.bb. Enter now for your chance to win lunch for two at the Crane Hotel and other prizes. The deadline is May 6th. Mom deserves it. All entries will be published.
On the regional scene, Guyanese police are questioning 2 people following the death of 4 people who allegedly drank a tonic laced with cocaine. According to police reports, those killed include 36-year-old Simon Price, her husband, 42-year-old Alice Blair, her 7-year-old son, Jahaquel Blair, and her best friend, Natasha George. The police said the family ingested SSS tonic into which a quantity of cocaine had been dissolved. It said that the bottle of tonic, along with other goods, had been left at the house by a man known to them for an overseas-based female relative to take with her on her return. On the international scene, a parent's worst nightmare, the so-called leader of the Islamist group Boko Haram declares his team kidnapped more than 200 Nigerian schoolgirls last month, and he's planning to sell them. In a video, the man charges that Western education is a sin, and get this, girls should focus on getting married. He says there's a market for selling humans, and Allah has commanded him to sell women. On April 14, armed members of the Boko Haram overwhelmed security guards at a rural school, pulling the girls out of bed and forcing them into trucks. Nigerian authorities report that 276 girls were kidnapped. Police say at least 53 of those girls escaped, leaving 223 in the hands of their captors. Let's hope that they can make it back to their relatives alive and well. Well, that's been our noon update. Join us again at 6 o'clock this evening. Until then, you can log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, or like us on Facebook to get more news and sports. I'm Kmar Jordan. Do try to enjoy your afternoon and see us again at 6 o'clock.
This update is brought to you by
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.